I want to tell you about a man named James. James wasn't a CEO. He wasn't a general. He didn't have a corner office or a big title. He was a janitor at a hospital in upstate New York. One day, a nurse noticed him sitting next to a patient's bed, holding their hand and speaking softly. She asked, "James, what are you doing?" He looked up and said, "She doesn't have any family. I didn't want her to be alone when she woke up." Leadership isn't about titles. It's about taking responsibility for those around you. It's about creating a sense of safety, of belonging, of trust. Leadership is not a rank you earn, it's a service you choose. And it all begins with 5 fundamentals. A title might give you authority, but it doesn't give you leadership. Leadership is not about the position you hold or the office you occupy. It's about the influence you create, the trust you build, and the purpose you serve. So many people think that once they've earned the title, whether it's CEO, manager, coach, or director, that's when leadership starts. But leadership starts long before that. It starts with why. When we think about great leaders, we think about people who have a vision larger than themselves. They have a cause, a belief that pulls them forward, that inspires others to follow them, not because they have to, but because they want to. Take Martin Luther King Jr., for example. He didn't stand up in front of thousands and say, "I have a plan." He said, "I have a dream." He didn't sell a process or a product. He shared a purpose. People didn't follow him because he was a leader in the traditional sense. He didn't have power in the usual way. He followed his purpose. And because of that, people followed him with a sense of belonging, a sense of commitment, and a sense of duty to something bigger than themselves. And that's the essence of leadership. It's not about the title. It's about the cause that you stand for. It's about the why that drives you forward. Leadership is about making people believe in something more than just a paycheck, more than just an outcome. It's about them believing in the why behind everything you do. Think about your own leadership journey. Why do you lead? What higher purpose is pulling you forward? Is it just about getting results, or is it about something bigger, something that will resonate with your team, your organization, or your community? When people know why they're following you, when they understand the cause that you are serving, they will go to great lengths to make that vision a reality. They will move mountains for you. They will face challenges, endure hardships, and give their very best because they believe in you. They believe in what you're standing for. When people don't understand your purpose, they become transactional in their relationship with you. They will follow the rules, do the work, but their hearts won't be in it. Their commitment will be shallow. The minute the going gets tough, they'll be the first to jump ship. But when you lead with purpose, you create a deep, unwavering connection. People won't just follow you because you're their boss or because they have to. They'll follow because they want to. And that's the difference between being a manager and being a leader. A few years ago, I had the privilege of working with a company that was struggling. They had a brilliant product, but they were losing market share. Their people were disengaged, disconnected from their work. The CEO had the title, but not the influence. One day, I asked him, "What's your purpose? Why do you do this?" He looked at me a little surprised and said, "To build the best product, to make money, of course." But I could see that his team wasn't motivated by money. They weren't motivated by the product itself. They didn't feel like they were part of a bigger mission. They were coming in, doing their job, and going home. They weren't emotionally invested in the company, and as a result, their performance was lackluster. We worked together to clarify the company's purpose. It wasn't about making money or building the best product. It was about using their technology to make a real impact on people's lives. Once the CEO understood that, once he communicated why they were doing what they were doing, not just what they were doing, the entire company shifted. People started working with passion, energy, and dedication. They didn't just come to work, they came to make a difference. If your people know your purpose, if they truly understand why they are part of the mission, they will give everything. They will face the hardest challenges with resolve. They will go through fire for you, not because they are paid to, but because they are part of something bigger. They'll work late hours, take risks, and embrace challenges. They'll become your greatest advocates, not because they have to, but because they believe in you. They believe in the why you stand for, and they'll follow that with everything they have. So ask yourself, and ask your team, why do you lead? What is the higher cause that pulls you forward? Because when you lead with purpose, you don't just have followers, you have passionate believers. And that's the essence of great leadership. The most effective leaders don't lead from above. They walk beside their people. They don't sit in their offices and direct from a distance. They step into the trenches with their team, shoulder to shoulder, understanding the challenges they face. The best leaders don't just have authority, they have connection. They don't simply manage, they understand. Empathy is often misunderstood as a soft skill, something nice to have but not essential to leadership. But the truth is, empathy is a superpower. It's not a weakness, it's one of the most powerful tools a leader can possess. Empathy is about seeing people for who they are, not just for what they do. It's about hearing their stories, understanding their fears, and acknowledging their struggles. It's about genuinely caring enough to understand what keeps them up at night. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you had a manager or leader who really listened to you, who took the time to understand what you were going through, both personally and professionally? How did that make you feel? When someone takes the time to truly see you, to hear your voice, it creates a connection, a bond of trust. And trust is the foundation of leadership. Research supports this. A 2017 Harvard Business Review study found that employees who felt their managers were empathetic were more than 400% more engaged at work. Let that sink in, 400% more engaged. Engagement is not just about showing up, it's about bringing your whole self to the job, pouring your energy into the work, and caring deeply about the outcome. That's not a soft skill. It's rocket fuel for performance. When employees feel valued, when they know their leader understands them, they will go above and beyond. They will bring their best, even on the hardest days. During the COVID crisis, we saw this principle in action. The companies that emerged from the pandemic stronger and more united were those that led with empathy. They checked in on their employees regularly. They offered flexibility when people needed it most. They listened deeply to the challenges their teams were facing, whether it was about balancing work with childcare, managing fear and anxiety, or navigating unprecedented change. And these companies didn't just lead, they cared. Empathy isn't about solving every problem. As a leader, you won't have all the answers. You can't fix everything. But empathy is about not letting your people feel alone in their struggles. It's about showing up for them, acknowledging their challenges, and offering your support. When people know they aren't facing their problems alone, it gives them strength. It makes them feel seen, valued, and respected. And when they feel that, they are more willing to put in the effort to keep moving forward and to work together toward a common goal. And empathy creates an environment where people feel safe, safe to express their ideas, safe to make mistakes, safe to be human. In a world that constantly demands more, we often forget that people need to be heard, understood, and supported. But when leaders practice empathy, they foster a culture of trust and belonging. And that culture is what drives real, lasting success. Empathy is the real superpower of leadership. It's not about being soft. It's about being strong enough to care, strong enough to show up, listen, and walk beside your people, no matter what they're going through. When you lead with empathy, You don't just create followers, you create a team that is united, engaged, and ready to face any challenge together. Trust is not something you can demand, it's something you have to earn, one consistent action at a time. The moment you expect trust to be given without effort, you've already lost it. Trust is fragile, but it's also the foundation of everything you do as a leader. Without it, everything you try to build will crumble. Trust is earned when you show up day after day with integrity. It's earned when you do what you say you will do, even when no one is looking. It's earned when you keep your promises, especially the small ones. The small promises are the ones that often matter most because they show the world and your team that you are reliable, that you are consistent, that your word can be trusted. It's easy to make big promises, but it's in the smallest of actions that true trust is forged. Whether it's following through on a commitment or simply being there when someone needs you, trust is built in the moments where character is tested. Consider this. In 2021, PwC conducted a survey, and 63% of employees said that a lack of trust in leadership was one of the main reasons they considered quitting their jobs. That number is staggering. Think about it. People aren't leaving their jobs just because of pay, benefits, or job security. They're leaving because they don't trust their leaders. When trust is broken, even the most skilled team will fall apart. If your people don't trust you, they will never give you their best. They might go through the motions, but their hearts won't be in it. They won't be invested. They won't give you their energy, their loyalty, or their commitment. They won't bring their best ideas, their creativity, or their passion. And that, as a leader, is a tragedy. On the other hand, when your team trusts you, they will follow you through the toughest challenges. They will give you everything they have, because trust goes both ways. If they trust you, they will trust in your vision, your guidance, and your decisions. They'll give you their loyalty, their energy, and sometimes their hearts. They will go to battle for you, even in the most uncertain times. Trust is the thing that binds people together and propels them forward, even when the path is unclear. But trust isn't a one-time transaction. It's not built in grand gestures or fleeting moments of charisma. Trust begins with transparency. It starts when you choose to be open, even when it's uncomfortable. It starts when you choose honesty over secrecy, when you share the tough truths and acknowledge the challenges ahead. Trust is built when you choose humility over ego, when you admit your mistakes and learn from them. It's built when you show your team that you are just as committed to their success as you are to your own. Consistency is the glue that holds trust together. Charisma can win hearts for a moment, but consistency wins loyalty for a lifetime. Trust isn't something that can be created overnight. It's not something you can demand no matter how much power or authority you hold. Trust is earned through your actions, your decisions, and your integrity. One step at a time, when you show up as the same person every day. When you make the hard right choice over the easy wrong one, your people will see that, and they will trust you. And that trust, once earned, is priceless. It is the foundation upon which the most resilient, innovative, and loyal teams are built. Leaders go first. That's what separates them. It's not about having the title or the authority. It's about the willingness to step forward when no one else is ready. Leaders go first because they understand something crucial. Leadership isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them what's possible. Leaders are the ones who take the first risk. They put themselves out there before anyone else, knowing that their actions will set the tone for the entire team. They are the first to admit their mistakes, to acknowledge when they've fallen short, and to be vulnerable. They start the uncomfortable conversations, whether it's addressing conflict, giving tough feedback, or confronting an issue that everyone else wants to avoid. Leaders go first because they know that by doing so, they create an environment where others feel empowered to do the same. This is how trust and courage spread. When a leader is courageous, they give others permission to be courageous too. They give their team the freedom to speak up, to take risks, to challenge the status quo. Courage is contagious. When people see their leader take a stand, face uncertainty, or stand up for what's right, they begin to believe they can do the same. And when they believe they can take those risks, they'll be more likely to step up, to take ownership, and to lead in their own right. Think about the story of Captain William Swenson, a U.S. Army officer during the war in Afghanistan. During a deadly ambush with bullets flying all around him, Captain Swenson didn't stay in the safety of his position. He didn't give orders from behind cover. He ran into enemy fire again and again to rescue his comrades who were wounded and stranded. In one body cam clip, you can see him kiss a fellow soldier on the forehead before carrying him to safety. He didn't ask his team to do something he wasn't willing to do himself. He led by example, and in doing so, he gave his men the courage to follow him into the chaos. That's the power of leadership. Courage isn't always loud. It's not always about big, dramatic actions or making a speech in front of thousands. Sometimes courage is quiet. It's the small, everyday decisions that show people you are willing to choose them over your own comfort, your own fear. It's about making the decision to show up and stand firm when things get tough. Sometimes, courage is as simple as acknowledging a mistake and learning from it, or as difficult as confronting an uncomfortable truth. But whatever form it takes, courage always creates a ripple effect. It makes others feel safe enough to act, to take risks, and to step into the unknown with confidence. Leadership demands that we go first, because when we take that first step, others know it's safe to follow. When we lead with courage, we create an environment where others feel empowered to rise to the occasion, to lead alongside us, and to support each other through challenges. Leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room or having the most answers. It's about being the first to act, to lead with heart, and to give others the permission to do the same. When we go first, we give people the confidence to take their own first steps, and together we can face any challenge. Great leaders aren't measured by how much power they collect. They're measured by how many leaders they create. Leadership is not about building your own personal empire. It's about building others up, empowering them to become the leaders of tomorrow. A true leader doesn't need to be the center of attention. They don't seek the spotlight. In fact, they do something far more impactful. They shine that spotlight on others, lifting them up, recognizing their strengths, and giving them the space to grow. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that leadership is about visibility, recognition, and accumulating accolades. The world around us often tells us that success is about personal achievement, about being seen, heard, and acknowledged. But the most profound and lasting leadership is about creating something bigger than yourself, something that will outlast you. It's about building a legacy of leaders who carry on the work, the values, and the mission long after you've stepped away. Consider the example of Angela Merkel. For 16 years, she led Germany through multiple crises, financial crises, refugee crises, political upheavals, and she did so with a calm and quiet strength. Throughout her time in office, she never sought the limelight for herself. She wasn't about flashy speeches or grand gestures. Instead, she built trust, made tough decisions, and guided her country through difficult times. She didn't demand respect from her people. She earned it over time through consistency, humility, and unwavering dedication. And when her tenure came to an end, she didn't leave behind a nation that was focused on her. She left behind a legacy, a country stronger for the leadership she provided, and a people empowered to continue the work. The truth is, leadership isn't about what you build for yourself. It's about what you build for others. It's not about the accolades you receive or the recognition you gain. It's about the lives you touch, the individuals you inspire, and the leaders you mentor along the way. Who are you investing in? Who are you giving the tools to succeed? Who are you helping to rise? Leadership is about creating a ripple effect, empowering others to take on more responsibility, to make decisions, and to lead with confidence. Ask yourself, who will carry the torch when you're gone? Who are you shaping, guiding, and lifting up today so that they can lead tomorrow? Real leadership is not about being remembered. It's about making others feel that they matter, that their contributions are significant, and that they have what it takes to lead in their own right. When you focus on others, when you invest in their growth, you're not just creating followers, you're creating new leaders who will go on to inspire even more people. And that is the true measure of success. The impact of a great leader isn't seen in the walls they build or the titles they earn. It's seen in the people they raise up, the leaders they create, the legacies they leave behind. When you focus on building leaders rather than just followers, you create a culture of empowerment. You create an environment where people feel valued, seen, and heard. You make them believe in themselves and in the difference they can make. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own reach. So ask yourself, are you focused on your own success, or are you focused on the success of those around you? Are you looking for your moment in the spotlight, or are you using that spotlight to illuminate others, to help them rise and to prepare them for what's next? Because true leadership is never about being the star of the show. It's about making others feel like they're the ones who matter. It's about building a legacy that endures long after the limelight fades. And in doing so, you will leave the world better than you found it. So here's the truth. The world doesn't need more bosses. It needs more leaders. Leaders who don't just give orders, but who inspire. Leaders who don't rule with authority, but lead with purpose. We have too many people in positions of power who confuse titles with true leadership. And what the world is missing are those who understand that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about helping others find theirs. We need leaders who lead with purpose, not pride. People who are driven by a cause greater than themselves, who understand why they're doing what they do, and who can communicate that vision in a way that inspires others to rally behind it. When a leader leads with purpose, they create a culture of meaning and belonging. It's not about what's in it for them, it's about what's in it for everyone else. We need leaders who lead with empathy, not ego. The ego will always tell you that you know best, that you are right, and that your way is the only way. But empathy, the ability to understand, to listen, to connect, is what allows us to build trust, to relate to others, and to create environments where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. It's easy to lead from a place of ego, but true leadership comes when you put your people first, when you make decisions that consider their well-being and growth. We need leaders who lead with trust, not tyranny. You can demand obedience, but you can't demand trust. Trust is earned, one small action at a time, through consistency, integrity, and transparency. When people trust their leaders, they give their best. They bring their creativity and they push the boundaries of what's possible. But when trust is absent, fear takes its place, and nothing good grows in a culture of fear. We need leaders who lead with courage, not comfort, True leadership is not about staying in your comfort zone. It's about stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and making tough decisions that others might shy away from. Courage is about doing what's right, even when it's difficult. It's about being the first to take action, to be vulnerable, and to show others that it's okay to follow. Leaders who are afraid to go first can never expect others to follow them into the unknown. We need leaders who lead with legacy, not limelight. So many people chase after the spotlight. But true leadership is about creating something that lasts, something that goes beyond your time, beyond your title. A true leader builds a legacy by empowering others, by nurturing future leaders who will carry the work forward. It's not about being remembered, it's about making others feel that they matter, that their contributions are meaningful, and that they have the power to shape the future. Leadership isn't something you put on like a jacket when it's convenient. It's something you live every day, in every word, every choice, and every person you encounter. Leadership is about being consistent, about showing up, and about making a difference with the way you live your life. Whether you're running a company, teaching a class, parenting a child, or holding someone's hand when they're afraid, you are leading. Every interaction, every moment, every decision is an opportunity to lead with integrity, with love, and with purpose. So the real question is this: what kind of leader will you choose to be? Will you be the one who leads with fear and control? Or will you be the one who leads with purpose, with empathy, with trust, and with courage? The world is waiting for more leaders. And that leader could be you.